listening to Anthony.
There he is. Oh, my God. You know what? I'm so psyched.
Listen, I brought a little something for you guys. I have a little.
I would love some of your
a little
meth.
teenth of our product, my
Some
friend.
of your product?
It's rock candy.
Oh, that is. I'm keeping.
Are you gonna eat it?
Or you can
I'm
call
gonna
it rock
smoke it.
candy if you
I'm
want.
going to smoke it. That's the good stuff.
What did I see you in recently? You were in something else, weren't you? You in a film recently?
Yeah, I have a couple things out. I have Rock of Ages, that's out now, and also Madagascar 3, You Have My Voice.
We talk about how with guys that come in that do cartoon voices, how just printing money that is.
It is the best. You roll out of bed, literally. You don't even have to wipe the sleep out of your eyes. It's like you have a cup of coffee in one hand, and you're like, what? Okay, bigger. Good. All right, next.
How did they know you could do Russian? Did they say we need you to do Russian, or you just made them Russian?
They kind of asked me to do it and said, "What characters would you be interested in? Here's a Russian tiger. Here's this guy and that guy." And I said, "How about the Russian tiger? That sounds fun." You did sound like this. I'm like this. Hey, comrade.
That's good. Very KGB, old school Soviet Russia,
And a little like a tiger growl to it. So I will listen to me.
You ever see Yakov Smirnoff down there in Branson, Missouri?
I haven't seen.
Apparently, he's got magnetic dinner trays and genuine linen napkins. Now, last time you were in, you were talking about Walt and how you were getting really, really over the deep end, and very, very bad. And I'm seeing this happen.
Yeah.
With the first 2 episodes I saw. No spoilers. Don't worry, people. You don't have to change the channel here. I'm not going to say anything. But you are taking this to a very extreme level, and it doesn't look like it's going to end well. I'll just say that.
Well, it is called Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Not Breaking Good.
No, not Breaking Good.
I mean, it is going dark. You know, from the beginning, we knew that it was going to go this way because our creator, Vince Gilligan, and the Lord Jesus Christ, said that he wanted to take a guy who was a really nice guy, a good guy, and take him from Mr. Chips to Scarface. So we knew the trajectory. I just didn't know how deep and dark it would actually go for this guy.
Yeah, just a complete disregard for anyone else but you and apparently your immediate family. But even your wife on the show is starting to look at you like this is a monster.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even know the half of it.
I know she doesn't.
It gets really bad.
She doesn't need to know. Who's going to tell her? You're going to tell her?
I'm not saying a word. You go about your business, Mr. Science Teacher.
The thing that's so interesting about this is that I think, certainly men, but any human being is capable of getting this dark, given the right set of circumstances. I'm telling you, I think it's possible. What's happened to Walter White is that he's been seduced. Never before in his adult life has he had money, has he been able to intimidate any other man ever.
Just a mild-mannered science teacher. Yeah.
He was invisible to everybody, even himself. And all of a sudden, through these set of circumstances, he finds himself. He finds his power. And yeah, he's preening now. He's a peacock. But it's better than feeling numb. You know, so if you told him, you can have an extraordinary 2 years to live or the absolute most boring 20 years to live, what would you do? And it's like, I'm not so sure. There's a lot of desperation and depression involved in, that kind of desperate life.
Yeah. The transformation has been done so well that it's believable. That's the amazing part. Over the course of all the seasons, you have gone from just the invisible science teacher to a drug kingpin for the most part. And the whole transformation's been very realistic because there wasn't any one moment that kind of made it happen. It's just all these things came together over time.
I think that's what Breaking Bad does well, is that it uses the medium the way it should. It's immediate, it's current, it's funny, it moves quickly.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad would not make a good movie because there are too many elements that would have been necessary to cut out in order to make it an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And you'd look at it and say, how did this guy become this? He was
it's too truncated. There's too many leaps. So serialized television slowly played out, agonizingly played out sometimes.
You wanted
the best way.
You definitely saw the direction you wanted to go in, but it took these things, these hurdles you had to go over and awful things you had to do to learn how to be that evil. It's an amazing transformation.
Yeah,
very cool.
Really a sociological experiment to me.
Can I don't want to give any spoilers or anything. I got to ask you, at the very beginning of the first episode of season 5, we do see a different look on you. A different look when you're near the trunk.
Yes, you do.
Was that a flash?
You're being so good, by the way.
I'm trying. Was that a flash forward?
It is a flash forward.
Okay.
You're looking at a flash forward.
So we'll get a little resolution of that?
Well, no, you know what's funny is that the teaser of the first episode this Sunday, on AMC at 10 o'clock, East Coast and West Coast, 9 o'clock in the middle, is revealing in so many ways.
Yes.
And yet not.
And you don't get anything.
You don't get, it's like, what? And then you realize, what did I just see?
That's what I was doing. Yeah. I was literally craning my neck, looking up, going, what's in there? What is, like thinking I'd see something different if I looked the other way.
Yeah.
It's been such a compelling show. The suspense is great. The second episode of this season was edge of your seat. The entire time is edge of your seat. Mike, the character Mike in there, the fact, what he wants to do and what he has to do, the difference in that is you start feeling bad for him.
Yeah.
And he's a son of a bitch.
It's amazing how this show toys with your sympathies.
Yes.
Where you have these people doing awful things and yet you're sympathizing and almost rooting for them. Come on, make that crystal meth. Yeah, come on.
Bring back the old team. Let's get the band back together, kind of a feel to it.
Exactly.
It really is.
Housewives saying, oh, maybe if we just warn him with shooting his kneecap as opposed to killing him. I think that, I don't think we have to kill everyone.
That just goes to show how well the writing is. Because
it's really brilliant.
How do you get somebody that's so awful of a person and make him sympathetic?
What was so interesting about Vince Gilligan's jump into this is that historically television has always been about staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
Every single character that you know and love in the past, you could turn on the television. There he is. There's my guy.
My pal.
He's always the same. I can depend on him. And this show has always been about change. How can we change? And just when he comes to a certain point, change him again.
Yeah.
Get him darker, get him moving. And then what about my wife who is, she's a loving, caring oh, wait a minute. Maybe she's changing too.
She's got a little in her,
Everybody's changing.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of evil in her too. But I think it's almost like she didn't realize how bad this was going to get and how far you drag your family into all this. And what is initially, I guess the motivation was dying of cancer, have to take care of the family. So it was a noble effort.
Right.
When you started. But how did it get so evil? What is it in the character? Is it the fact that the character just didn't want to be bored for the rest of his life?
Well, if it's been a hypothetical that we've all played. If you had a year to live, how would you live your life? And this poor bastard's thinking, I'm just going to wither away and my wife's going to empty my bedpan and we'll blow through whatever little savings we have. And that's the legacy I'm leaving. No man wants to. You want to have some control. So for the first time in his life, he makes a bold move and says, by God, I'm going to do this thing because I know how. The one thing I don't know is what to do with it. I don't know how to sell it. So that's why he needs Aaron Paul's character, Jesse, in order to come in to distribute the thing. Simple plan, make a bunch of money, give it to my family, die. There it is. It doesn't. But he realizes once you sell your morality for cash, you're lost.
There's no line.
You try
that
to
you
become someone you're not. You're lost.
So you paint like a real picture of this guy. Like as an actor, how much of that do you do beforehand? Well, how much of it do you do just from the script, or do you actually, will you go home and think like, who is this person, or what? How do you see it when you play somebody like that?
Not anymore. When you first start to put a character together, you ask that question a lot. Where is he from? In fact, most actors, including myself, will do what's called a backstory. You'll write your own backstory, his education, where he was raised, teachers, things like that. That just helps fill in the blanks for you. And some of it may come to fruition. Some of it may never be known except to you. But you start doing that so you have more anchor points. The more that an actor knows about a character, it gets inside of him or her. After a certain point, I just live it. I slip into his wallabies, put on the glasses and the chinos, and I go, there you are.
Well, how much different of a guy is he from you? I mean, not the behavior, but I mean, as a guy.
He's killed more people than I have.
No, but I mean, like,
I've killed people. I don't want to paint the wrong picture.
I mean, like, as a person, like, you know, because this is a regular person pushed into extraordinary circumstances. So that's kind of what you base it on, as being a real person.
He's not anything like me.
No,
no. I mean, he's very, very smart. So there's the big comparison there. He's been put in a position where he has not expressed himself as a man, as an adult. He's never taken chances. My whole career is being an actor. You're taking chances constantly, and you have to get comfortable with that. He's introverted, or at the start he was shy. He was milquetoast, and so I had to get into that mindset of what makes him be him. What makes a person, what makes a man cave in like that and become depressed? And I came up that he developed a fear of failure, and that he had missed opportunities in his life, and that led to his depression, and that led to this kind of invisible man, concept that I wanted to bring forward. And so when we were designing the face and the hair, I took all the color out of my hair when we first started. I had this little impotent mustache, a mustache that you can see through, and was light because we lightened it and thinned it out. And you'd never, if you want to make an impotent mustache, you guys, I know you'd want this. You would never have the hair turn down the corners of the mouth, because then it gets macho when you get down there. So I used to cut it here. I thin it out. I wanted a mustache for people to look at and go, what's the point? What are you trying to say?
We've all seen those.
It's like, wow. Yeah. I wanted him to disappear. So all his clothes were taupes and sand color and off-whites and thing. I wanted him to blend into the walls. I wanted him to feel invisible. And so on those first episodes, when I'm in the classroom and trying to look at anybody who might be interested in chemistry and getting nothing, it helped me as a character realize I'm so depressed. How did I get here? I'm looking at it. Nobody cares that I'm even here.
Yeah.
Nobody knows I'm even here. If I walked out of this classroom, they wouldn't even know. They're going to continue texting and whatever. I've lost.
That was like part of what made you do what you ended up doing on the show.
Yeah.
I guess if you were successful, or if the character was a successful teacher that was beloved by the students, even if you got the cancer and needed to get money for the family, it probably wouldn't have worked out the same way. It was just a combination of everything.
It had everything to do with
all the features,
all those elements
were there.
Came into play.
Yeah. Now, but one thing confusing though, you did it initially for your family and out of love for your family and concern about their future, and then it seems like you lost the concern for your family because you pretty much put them in danger now with what you're doing.
What are you saying?
How did that change?
You got a problem with that?
Not at all. I think it's great. All for one, and all for me. Wait a minute. But what happened with the character that he kind of almost not wrote off his family, but didn't seem that concerned?
Walter White was seduced. He was seduced by power, by money, all the things that
even at the cost of his family.
Well, he didn't realize. I mean, we've all met very bright people who in a social situation, right? I mean, you go, oh my God, this guy's a PhD and he's like unbelievably bright, and yet he can't hold a conversation in a social environment or what. So it doesn't mean if you're good at one thing, you're good at another. And so here you have a man who is very smart, but he made some poor choices, and he actually thinks that this simple plan will work, but he doesn't have the skill set to be a mastermind criminal. At least back then he didn't. He's learning quickly.
Yeah.
Is there anything hard for you as an actor? Is there anything that's hard for you to play? Like when they ask you to do like, is there a behavior or an emotion that's easier for you or more comfortable for you? And then there's one that when you do it, you're like, all right, this one's more work.
Any given emotion, I don't know. Yeah, if you're asked to play some, fast talking kind of, guy who is authority on something, you have a lot of research to do because, you have to really delve into that and know what you're talking about because it's coming out of your mouth so much faster than you ever thought. My guy on Drive, that movie Drive, was kind of that way where he talked too much. He spoke too much. So I had to just get back into the garage and just get my head into that, that grease monkey kind of mentality and pick up a wrench and figure out things. And, cause I ad-libbed a lot in that film and it was a lot about cars and things like that. Yeah.
Do you give yourself something to do? Like a lot of great actors will do that. Like they'll always be doing something like normal, like whether it's eating or just doing something like Pacino with his hands. That people like there's these little weird things that actors do that I think is so interesting, just to feel like it's real life.
It gives actors a handle, something to hold on to. If you're just standing there, it doesn't always feel the most comfortable. So if you're actually doing something and, peeling a potato or something, anything, it basically makes the actor a little distracted in an activity, which is a good thing.
See, I never know it's a running joke on this show, but I don't, when I'm just standing there, like if they said in every scene, like that I've ever, like we need to just dump salt on something, like if there was slugs in every scene, I'd be fucking amazing. But when you just have to stand there, like walk into a room and make a proclamation, I stiffen up and I literally don't know. I watch hands so much when people act because it's so hard to be natural and conversational. Like right now, my hands are just dead.
You don't think about it when you're talking to someone on the street. Your hands are doing what they do. But if you were told to speak to a person on camera, now you're conscious of everything.
Like if we were having this conversation, if I had written this conversation out and we were having it, you'd be sitting there as natural as you are, and my hands, I'd be like, I'd be raising them, I'd be fucking poking things.
And then they'll tell you, no, you're moving your hands a lot. Put them to your side. Let's do another take, everybody.
Exactly.
Now they froze him down.
Yeah. Jim, this is whose life is it anyway? You can't be moving your hands around a lot. Must be quadriplegic.
Remember, Jim, you're paralyzed from the neck down. So the movement thing is a little bit of a problem.
I'm always interested in how guys do that. Maybe they just don't. Maybe you're just so good you don't think about it anymore. But I'm fascinated by how you can make that so fucking natural. It's so hard to do, man.
It does look
really hard.
It's supposed to look hard, but and look easy, but it is actually very difficult to do.
Are you comfortable around guns? You do a lot of gunplay in the show.
Well, my character is not.
Yes,
he doesn't know from that world. So no, he's not too comfortable. When I was a kid, I used to shoot rifles. And doing some competitive shooting. And that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So I know my way around a
okay.
So.
Yeah. I guess you're more apt to poison somebody or something like a little more science oriented. Yeah. Wait a minute. Did he touch my coffee? Yeah, that was.
I love the idea of incorporating science in killing people.
Yeah.
There's more of that coming up this year, too.
I don't doubt it. It does work well. And your loyalty to Jesse, it seems like it's there in the criminal element of what you want to do. But as a person or friend, you have really no respect or like for this guy.
Well, I don't know.
And I think he idolizes you. He still calls you Mr. White, which is very odd to watch after everything you've done.
Like
I think it's more a sign of him kind of still being a child in the classroom and calling you Mr. White. But yeah, you personally, on a personal level, you've done horrible things to this guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, if he ever finds out what I've done,
yes, there will be hell to
in
pay.
Trouble. Yeah.
But
he's a great actor, and he's fun to work with. He's supposed to be here, right?
Yeah, I was going to say great actor, not very prompt.
He's not very punctual. He doesn't own a watch.
But it just does seem like you've you put everything aside, even that, and that's a very threatening place to put yourself because you know he would do awful things if he found out what you've done.
Yeah. And, as we wind down for season 5 starts on Sunday for 8 episodes. Season 6 will start next summer for 8 episodes, and then we're done for good.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, given the conceit of the story that this man had 2 years to live and he's still going to die of lung cancer, if not of something else. Beforehand, but yeah, I want to stay true to what we told the audience and be fair with that. And
you don't want to do like MASH, where the Korean War's 11 years.
11 years. I thought this was supposed to only be 3 years.
Yeah. The Beatles are playing and the Korean War's going on.
Really?
Do you remember the last time that you were lousy? Like something you did like years ago that you're like, oh God, was I awful in that?
I wasn't too kind to my wife the other day.
No, I mean as an actor.
Oh, as an actor. Oh yeah. Oh sure. In fact, friends of mine have a humiliation night where they ask actors and performers to bring your worst shit over. And
wow!
You know how easy it is to be me and bring everything?
No, and see, that's it. You have to call through that and say, this is the worst I've ever been.
What a great idea it is.
And you're drinking all night long, and you're laughing at everyone else's horrible performances.
Great.
It's great. You're just ripping each other completely.
We've had some of the stand-ups come in, and we played some of their early material, and just embarrassing. Yeah. But that's got to be pretty nerve-wracking, just sitting there with your friends goofing on your work.
The last time we did it was with Seth MacFarlane. He was over, and we were drinking, and he did an on-camera thing on Star Trek, the TV series, and he was really stiff and in the background, and he was doing it, marching. It looked like he had something stuck up his ass. It was funny, so funny.
It is embarrassing to watch, though. Even though you're getting laughs from your friends, it really is on some level like, oh God, is that rough?
What did you bring?
I brought this thing called Crisis Counselor, which was a really bad one of the early reality shows back in like 1980, and it was kind of an improv show dealing with therapy sessions, group therapy sessions, and they would only tell you basically what you are, and then everything else just comes out. And I played this guy who who was married, and his wife is pregnant, and he has a male lover on the side. And I was told, you need to make this right on the show. You just need to say, what's wrong with this? And I went, really? That's what and so my arguments were like, I don't know. I just, she was a little sick, so I thought I'd step away, have myself a lover.
Were you playing it up like that?
Not unlike any other guy would do. Go get yourself a male lover. When your wife is pregnant, right? And it's like they're looking at me like, "What? You're such an ass!" And so everybody else on the panel was throwing daggers at me, and I'm trying to this weak argument. Anyway, we had a blast. They carved me up quite a bit on that one.
Do you know how? I guess back then you never thought this would end up for public consumption, but all this stuff can be found on YouTube and stuff.
Everything's available.
And back then it was like, all right, that's gone forever.
Yep.
They're telling us you have to leave. They're telling us that you have to. So Bryan, Cranston, Aaron Paul is in traffic. But Breaking Bad Season 5, it's Sunday, 10 o'clock on AMC. Mm-hmm. And where can people get it if they're on Dish or something and they don't have it? Is there another way to see it?
iTunes, Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. I think those are the play. We do
on demand.
Really on demand.
It's
great.
I love it. If you have not seen it, you have maybe the weekend to do a big long
catch up.
I would do it. I'd run 2 TVs at once and do 2 episodes at the same time. And like I said when you were here last time, the first episode of the first season grabs you.
Yeah.
The only comparison I have really is the Lost pilot was like that when all of a sudden there's a plane crash, people walk around and they're like, what is going on here? Yeah. And you have to stick around for it. And that's exactly what Breaking Bad is. Fantastic show. Huge fan, Bryan.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Love it.
This is The Anthony Show.